They called him Isaac, though the name wasn't his choice. He was born deaf on a sprawling southern plantation, where silence was treated like defiance. Isaac couldn't hear the crack of the whip or the overseer's insults, but that didn't spare him. In fact, it made him a target. The overseer was a man named Harlan Graves. He believed cruelty was discipline, and discipline was power. Graves despised Isaac's silence. He took it personally, as if the man's inability to hear was a refusal to obey. So Graves punished him harder than the others. Longer hours, heavier loads, public beatings meant to humiliate. Isaac never cried out. He couldn't. And that only enraged Graves more. But Isaac wasn't weak. He watched everything. He read lips. He memorized routines. He noticed which buildings were locked at night and which weren't. He knew where the overseer kept his keys. And he knew where the oil lamps were stored. The other enslaved workers began to realize something about Isaac. He saw danger before it arrived. When Graves was in a foul mood, Isaac would subtly warn them. Gestures, looks, signs made with his hands in the dirt. A quiet network formed around him. Silence became strategy. One night, after Graves beat an elderly woman nearly to death for dropping a crate, something changed. The plantation went to sleep thinking it was just another night of suffering. It wasn't. Sometime after midnight, a fire broke out near the storage barns. Then another, and another. Flames climbed dry wood like they'd been invited. Panic erupted. Bells rang. Men shouted orders that Isaac could not hear, but he didn't need to. By the time the masters realized the scale of the blaze, it was too late. Wind carried the fire straight toward the main house. Horses broke free. Smoke swallowed the sky. And in the chaos, Isaac and dozens of others vanished into the darkness. The plantation burned until sunrise. Graves survived, but his power didn't. The land was ruined. The enslaved people he terrorized were gone. No one ever proved who started the fire. But years later, locals whispered about a deaf man who turned silence into rebellion. Because sometimes history isn't shouted. Sometimes it burns quietly in the night.